Every night, at exactly 3:27 a.m., he woke up. No alarm, no sound, no reason, just awake. At first he ignored it, then he got used to it, then he started waiting for it. But one night, he didn't wake up, and something else did. Mark Jensen lived alone in a small apartment on the north side of Chicago. Nothing special about him. 34 years old, office job, quiet life, the kind of man you could walk past every day and never remember. His apartment was simple: a couch, a TV, a small kitchen, and a bedroom that always felt a little colder than the rest of the place. That night started like any other. Mark got home around 6:15 p.m., dropped his keys on the table, took off his shoes. He microwaved leftover pasta, sat on the couch, scrolled his phone. Nothing strange, no warning, no feeling that anything was about to change. By 11:40 p.m. he was in bed, lights off, phone charging, city noise faint through the window, cars passing, distant sirens, a dog barking somewhere far away, then silence. He fell asleep fast, deep sleep, the kind where you don't dream. Then, his eyes opened, suddenly, no movement before it, no slow waking, just open. Mark stared at the ceiling. His heart wasn't racing, he wasn't sweating. It didn't feel like a nightmare, it felt normal, too normal. He turned his head slowly toward the clock on his nightstand. 3:27 a.m. He blinked. Okay, he whispered to himself. Maybe something woke him. A sound, a car, a neighbor. But everything was quiet, too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels heavy. Mark sat up in bed. Listen, nothing, not even the city. He rubbed his face and let out a small laugh. Guess I just woke up, he said. He lay back down, closed his eyes, and after a few minutes, he fell asleep again. The next morning felt normal. No headache, no weird feeling, just another day. Mark went to work, answered emails, sat through meetings, drank bad coffee. By the afternoon, he had already forgotten about waking up at 3:27. It meant nothing, just one of those random things. That night, everything happened again. The second night felt normal. At first, Mark didn't think about the night before. Not really. He came home from work around the same time. Same routine, same silence. Shoes off, keys on the table, TV on for background noise. A sports channel played quietly, but he wasn't really watching it. His mind drifted. That moment from the night before, waking up suddenly at 3:27 a.m., it came back to him for a second. Then he shrugged it off. Just random, he muttered. People wake up in the night all the time. Nothing strange about that, right? By 11:30 p.m. he was already in bed, earlier than usual. He felt a little more tired that night. Not sick, just drained, like his body needed rest more than usual. He turned off the lights, rolled onto his side, closed his eyes. Sleep came fast again, heavy, like something pulling him down into it. Then, his eyes opened, again. No slow movement, no dream, just instant awareness, like someone flipped a switch inside his brain. He didn't move this time. He just stared forward into the dark. His breathing stayed calm, but something inside him noticed. This felt the same, exactly the same. Slowly, very slowly, he turned his head toward the clock. 3:27 a.m. Mark didn't blink this time. He just stared at it, waiting, like maybe it would change, like maybe he was imagining it. But it didn't move, not even a second. A small chill ran through his body. Not fear, not yet, just discomfort, the kind you can't explain. Okay, that's weird, he whispered. Now he was fully awake. No grogginess, no confusion, just clear, too clear. He sat up. The room looked the same. Same walls, same door, same shadows. But something felt off. The silence. It was different from the night before. Last night, the city was still alive in the distance. Cars, sirens, something. But tonight, nothing. Not even a hum. Mark frowned. He listened carefully, held his breath. Nothing. Chicago is never this quiet, he said softly. And he was right. It didn't matter how late it was. There was always sound, always something. But now, it felt like the world outside his apartment had been paused. Mark swung his legs off the bed. The floor felt colder than usual. He stood up slowly, walked toward the window. Each step felt louder than it should, his own movement breaking the silence. He pulled the curtain back slightly. looked outside. The street was empty. No cars. No people. No lights moving in the distance. Just still. The street lights were on, but even they looked dimmer. Like their light wasn't reaching as far as it should. Mark squinted. "Where is everyone?" he murmured. A strange thought hit him. What if it wasn't the city that was quiet? What if he just couldn't hear it? Mark stepped back from the window. That thought made his chest tighten slightly. "No, that's stupid," he said quickly, trying to shake it off. He turned around, looked back into his room. Everything was normal. But then, something small caught his attention. His bedroom door. It was open, just a little. Mark froze. He was sure he had closed it before going to bed. He always did. Always. Now it was slightly open, just enough to show darkness in the hallway. A thin line of black. Mark stared at it. "Maybe I didn't close it all the way," he said, but his voice didn't sound convinced. He walked toward the door slowly, each step careful, quiet. The closer he got, the colder it felt. Not freezing, but enough to notice. He reached the door, placed his hand on it. For a second, he hesitated, then pushed it open. The hallway was empty. Nothing there. Just darkness stretching toward the living room. Mark leaned forward slightly, looked down the hallway. Nothing moved, but something felt wrong. Not dangerous. Not yet. Just watched. Like he wasn't alone anymore. Mark quickly stepped back into his room, shut the door, locked it. That was new. He never locked his bedroom door before. He stood there for a moment, listening again. Still nothing. He turned back toward the clock. Still 3:27 a.m. "Okay, I'm dreaming," he said. That had to be it. It made sense. But it didn't feel like a dream. Everything felt too real, too sharp, too clear. Mark got back into bed, pulled the blanket over himself, closed his eyes. "Just sleep," he whispered. A few minutes passed. He heard it. A faint sound. From outside his room. Soft. Almost nothing. Like something moving. Mark's eyes snapped open. He held his breath. Listen. There it was again. Slow. Quiet. Chill. Like a footstep. Right outside his door. Mark didn't move. Didn't speak. Didn't breathe. The sound stopped. Silence again. Then, soft. Almost gentle. Pressed against the door. Mark's heart started beating faster now. Not panic, but close. He stared at the door, waiting, hoping it would stop. It didn't. Pressed. Slow. Patient. Like something knew he was inside and was trying to get in. Mark whispered, barely audible, "Who's there?" The scratching stopped. Instantly. Complete silence again. Then, from the other side of the door, something whispered back. So quiet. So close. "You woke up." Mark froze, because that voice sounded exactly like his. Mark didn't sleep again that night. He stayed in bed, eyes open, staring at the door, waiting, listening. Nothing else happened. No more scratching. No more whisper. Just silence. But it wasn't normal silence. It felt heavy, like the air itself had weight. At some point, without realizing it, Mark blinked, and suddenly it was morning. Sunlight filled the room. Cars outside. Voices. Life back again. Mark sat up fast. What? He looked at the clock. 8:42 a.m. He grabbed his head. He didn't remember falling asleep. Not even for a second. That bothered him more than the whisper. At work he couldn't focus. He kept hearing it in his head. "You woke up." In his own voice. By lunch he made a decision. Tonight, he wouldn't sleep. That night Mark prepared. Lights on. TV on. Coffee ready. 3:10 a.m. He was still awake. Heart beating slowly. Watching the clock. 3:26 a.m. Nothing happened. He smiled slightly. See? Nothing. 3:27 a.m. The lights flickered. Just once. Then, everything went dark. The TV shut off. The lights died. Silence returned. Instant. Heavy. Mark stood up quickly. Power outage? Then, he saw it. In the corner of the room. A shape. Not clear. Not solid. But darker than the darkness around it. It wasn't moving. But it was there. Mark whispered, "Hello." The shape twitched. Just slightly. Mark stepped back. And the shape stretched. Like it was trying to stand up. Mark looked at the clock. Still glowing. Still working. 3:27 a.m. Seconds didn't move. Minutes didn't change. Time had stopped. He looked back at the shadow. It was gone. Moved. Now closer. Near the wall. Mark stepped back slowly. The clock still read. 3:27 a.m. Next night, Mark didn't trust sleep anymore. Coffee. Cold water. Lights on. But at 3:27 a.m., his body shut down. Not sleep. Forced stillness. Eyes open. But he couldn't move. Sleep paralysis. But worse. Because he could still see. The door opening. The whisper came back. Closer this time. Right beside his ear. You stayed up. Mark couldn't respond. But we don't need you asleep. Morning came again. But now, things were different. The chair had moved. The TV remote was on the floor. The front door, unlocked. Mark didn't remember touching anything. Mark looked in the mirror. He moved, but his reflection was a second late. Then it smiled. Before he did, that night, he set up his phone. If I'm moving, I'll see it. He went to bed, heart racing. Mark grabbed his phone, pressed play. At first, nothing. Then, 3:27 a.m. On video, he sat up, slow, unnatural, head tilted. Then, he turned toward the camera and smiled. But Mark remembered, he never woke up. Then the video version of him spoke. Now I can stay. That night, Mark didn't wake up. 3:27 a.m. came, but he stayed still, silent, too still. Then, his body sat up, slow, but not him, not human. Head tilted wrong, smile too wide, eyes open, but empty. The next morning, neighbors said they saw Mark, walking outside, smiling, but something was wrong. He didn't blink, didn't respond. And at night, at exactly 3:27 a.m., the lights in his apartment turn on, even though no one lives there anymore. And sometimes, if you listen closely, you can hear a voice inside, whispering, "You woke up."